Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Press Enterprise High School Football Video Podcast. I am sports editor Tim Hare, and we've got assistant Dan Reilly back with me after a week off. Dan, thanks for being here.
No place I'd rather be.
Walking all the way from your desk into the conference room.
It's a long, long trek.
We've got some stuff to talk about.
Oh,
this
do
week.
we ever? Where did it all come from, too?
It's not often that we get to deal with breaking news, but Bloomsburg football coach Anthony Russo suspended 2 weeks. Not going to be coaching against Milton this week. Won't be against Hughesville next week. Won't be back until South Williamsport in early October.
Yeah.
How does this affect Bloomsburg's chances of beating what to this point has been a pretty bad, struggling Milton football team?
I don't think it changes much in terms of the outcome of the game. I think Bloomsburg was going to beat Milton regardless. Milton is down. They lost even more players this week. But I honestly don't feel like I feel like the talent that Bloomsburg has is better than the talent that Milton has. So with that in mind, I think the Panthers still get a win this week.
Yeah, because they're... It's like, and I'd said this to you at the beginning of the shift tonight, that it almost feels like Bloomsburg and Milton are competing to see who can have more drama leading up to the game.
Yeah.
Because, Milton, it sounds like it's just a bad situation there. They have 11 new starters this week, a lot of sophomores, some freshmen. And it really seems like Coach George Goodwin just said, you know what, some kids aren't buying into what we're trying to do, so we're going to go with some young kids and, just kind of roll the dice with some underclassmen who maybe are going to play a little harder.
Yeah, I feel like every coach has their own prerogative, and how they're going to approach things is the way that they're going to approach it. And if you don't like it, then you either shape up or ship out in some instances. And, now there's certain ways to go about that, obviously. Kids will respect, what they are supposed to do. I feel like when a coach asks you to do something, you're always going to have, I would hope, that respect for, your coach. But like I said, there's certain ways to handle certain situations, both as a coach and as a player. So as long as it's handled in the right way, there really shouldn't be too many underlying issues there.
Now, with Bloomsburg, is Anthony Russo the Bloomsburg coach in 2017?
In my eyes, no. It was a 5-7 record last year. There was progress made. The kids opted to go to the Eastern Conference playoffs and play, even though they didn't have to.
But it's not even an on-the-field issue.
Yeah.
The story, because we haven't really gone into why he's been suspended.
Let's do that.
He got into a confrontation at practice on Wednesday with the district superintendent, it sounds like.
Yep.
And there was a crowd there watching a girls' soccer game that saw the whole thing sort of unfold. And regardless of, Bloom's 1-3 now. They could be 0-4, getting outscored 200-0.
Sure.
If you yell at your boss, you're lucky to have a job.
Absolutely.
And I feel like Bloomsburg's saying all the right things at this point because it's a very sensitive issue. It's a personnel issue. But I don't know that he, after an incident like this, is going to have the kind of support from his administration that's going to have him coaching at Bloomsburg next year.
Given some of the things that have happened over at Bloom recently, I don't see a way that he's back next year. I just don't.
And so when Russo was hired in 2015, he became the third Bloomsburg coach in 4 years because Larry Sones had a nice 10, 11 season tenure.
Yep.
Won a district title. There was good stability under Larry. Mike Kogut came in 2013, had a reputation for being a really innovative offensive mind. Things didn't necessarily click. In the Kogut era, he leaves after 2 years, and they bring Russo in.
Yeah.
Now, if he's gone after 2 years, why can't Bloomsburg, which was a traditionally fairly successful program through most of the 2000s, why can't they hold on to a coach?
I wish I had the answer. I don't know what it is. It's a school that has great kids. Every experience I've ever had at Bloom has always been enjoyable. I've never had an instance where I left, Bloomsburg thinking to myself, I can't believe things are happening this way here.
Historically, the administration is a strong one, whether it was Joe Kelly or Cos Curry as the superintendent. Pretty good stability in their ADs.
Something just doesn't add up.
Yeah, and it's fairly recent. Maybe, Tony Russo goes from this suspension and comes back and goes on to a very nice career.
Yeah, it's very possible.
But, right now it's just kind of shocking news out of Bloomsburg.
It's not a promising forecast at this point.
Now, we talked a little about Milton and their struggles, and the wounds are still fresh after what Danville did to him.
Absolutely.
Dropped a 67 spot on him.
Yeah.
I had felt to this point that Danville had maybe underperformed a little bit. Tough to say that after they put up 67 points.
Yeah.
What is Danville doing well so far in your eyes?
Well, they do a lot of things well. They're disciplined. I think discipline could be one of their biggest factors that plays into their hand. They're very disciplined. Now they do give up some stupid penalties, as Coach Jim Kaiser would call them, but
there are very few smart penalties.
Yeah, exactly. What team
maybe take a delay a game.
Yeah, what team isn't going to have those issues? I mean, these are high school kids, of course. Right. So I just feel like the key to Danville's success is the coaching staff, number one. The kids buy into always what they're doing over there. You could tell that there's a lot of respect from the players, to the coaching staff, and vice versa. Now, I just feel like they never change that offense, but it's because they do it successfully. And when it's not if it's not broken, why are you going to fix something that's doesn't need to be fixed?
Sure.
So they make it simple in terms of this is what Danville football is. This is what we're gonna do.
And that was a program that kind of
similar
10 years ago was kind of like what Bloom has been the last 3 or 4 years, where they had this talent, and for whatever reason, they had Dave Zielinski, they had Jeremy Wynn there, and they just couldn't quite get over that hump, and they lacked that stability that Jim Kaiser's brought.
That's exactly what I think is the biggest thing. And if you talk to area coaches, even opposing coaches that are going to face Danville, if you're talking to them for the preview capsule or whatever, I would find it difficult to find an opposing coach who is like, Danville does the right things over there.
Now, they have one of our more intriguing games this week, probably our best game this week, or the one most fans in our coverage area will have the most interest in.
Sure.
They play Central Columbia.
Yeah.
Central, a very interesting situation there where they win their first 3 games. That third win, very convincing, 48-0 over Towanda. Mm-hmm. And then they played Loyal Sock, and if it had been a boxing match, after that first quarter, every judge on their card would have scored at Central. Just did what they wanted to do. Mm-hmm. I think they ran 20 plays to 10 for Loyal Sock, held on to the ball. A good, productive second drive that didn't end in 7, but got them a field goal. And then after that, Loyal Sock just took it to another level.
Yeah.
Central, after that second drive, the field goal drive, didn't manage a first down. Mm-hmm. Minus 4 yards over the last 3 quarters.
Not good.
What does Central have to do to not have a repeat and try to get a win against
I'm glad you asked that, because in talking with Coach Scott Dennis earlier this week, because I did the preview capsule for this game, he seemed to feel like Loyal Sock by far had the best line that they had seen all year.
Yeah, well, Cray McCracken is
right.
an animal, potential all-stater.
Yeah, so for Central to win these games, they're going to have to win up front. So
where they're young.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have 2 seniors and then a lot of youth.
It's going to be tough. Obviously, it does not get any easier against Danville. They're very tough up front. That's what they do. But Central, make no mistake, is going to have matchup options that will benefit them. particularly in the passing game.
What do you think is the best matchup that favors Central?
Well, let's take a look at the receivers. I mean, Jensen Thriveridge is having a nice year, so
yeah, he went for about 157. Thriveridge had I think 157 against Tawana.
There may not be a particular matchup that is favorable in terms of man-to-man or player-to-player, but I feel like Danville's getting right now. They're getting exposed down the seams, as Coach Kaiser will tell you. So, Central could potentially take advantage of a missed coverage or something like that in the secondary. Although the secondary is really picking it up. Danville secondary, of course.
Who do you think wins the game?
I got to go Ironman.
How much?
I don't think it's gonna be a blowout by any means. Let's go 35-21 Danville.
Pretty high scoring.
Yeah.
The way both teams like to run the ball,
mm-hmm.
and I don't see a lot of 60-yard runs in this game.
No.
I think it's going to be a little lower scoring. I could see it being something like 27-20, 27-14.
That's about
I forget what score I picked.
It's usually about what their finals in these past couple of years have ended up like. Danville and Central...
I could kind of see it playing out almost like the Danville-Bloom game.
Sure,
where Danville was never really in too much danger, but Bloom was never really out of the game either.
Right.
It was always kind of like, okay, this is still a ball game.
Always seems to be the case when Danville and Central play, especially like a Jim Kaiser coach team that I've seen for the past several years. They always play each other very tough, regardless of each other's records.
Now, fair starts. We're going down to the fair tomorrow.
Free Friday.
What are you most excited to eat tomorrow?
Well, let's keep in mind that we also have pizza.
We will have pizza
here at the office tomorrow night for a tailgate.
The people want to know, what are you eating at the fair?
I'm going gyro. That's going to be my first stop is the gyro stand.
And you're going John the Greek?
Yeah, I believe I am.
See, nothing against John the Greek.
And nothing against
Dave. I like a good Dave's gyro.
All right. We'll agree to disagree.
I don't agree with that. If you like what you've seen, and how could you not have, please check out all of our football content. Go to pressenterpriseonline.com. You can find our stories. We tweet from the games. You can find a link to our weekly playbook. Also, please follow us on Twitter. We're looking for feedback on the podcast, trying to find new guests to have on. Through Twitter, we're able to arrange having Roy Dennis on next week's podcast. And if there's anything you'd like me to ask Roy, hit me up. I'm at Tim Hare 87. Dan, you are?
At Dan_Reilly 51.
So, check us out on Twitter. Anything else you got you want to add there?
That's exciting that Roy's going to be on the show next week. Roy's a great kid, and
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I haven't seen Roy in a while, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, we'll talk some BU football maybe on the high school football podcast.
I like it.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up. But for Dan Reilly, I am Press Enterprise Sports Editor Tim Hare, and until next week, we'll see you later.